Didn't you get water for 5000 years? Did you drink water or not? So this is not just a normal statement. This was a statement that mocks the historical struggle of a community, and this statement triggered a massive violence in the UGC protest.
ब्राह्मण है तो ब्राह्मण से बात इनके बाप दादाओं ने हमेशा से शोषण अत्याचार किया.
On 13th February of 2026, the students protested at the Delhi University's North Campus. They were protesting for the new UGC equity regulations. So, the students were protesting against the caste discrimination and reservation policies and to give protection to the marginalized students. So, the students were protesting in a peaceful manner. They were holding placards and the slogans were raised, and they were fighting for the justice and equality. Everything went normal on the campus until a YouTube journalist named RUCHI Tiwari came into the scene. So, she along with her cameraman came into the campus to cover the protest. She runs a political YouTube channel called Breaking Opinions, and she often covers the political or the controversial issues. At first, it looked like she just simply came to cover the UGC protection. But very quickly, the situation turned very tense because of her. She used such slur words to the Dalit journalist which many of the mainstream media failed to cover. Now look at this picture, and this is exactly the way that many of the mainstream media highlight the one-side story of the women Brahmin journalist RUCHI Tiwari. So, in videos that later circulated online, she asked the students that, "Aren't you drinking water now? You're drinking and living. Then why do you need reservation?" So, let us think about this question for once. For Dalit communities in India, denial of water was not symbolic. It was their painful historical reality. For centuries, people from lower caste denied access to even public well and basic human dignity. So when someone asks, "You're drinking water now and why do you need reservation?" it doesn't feel like a neutral policy questioning. It sounds so arrogant, and it sounds that their historical painful past is being mocked. And many students present there felt that this was not a journalism. It was obvious provocation. Usually, journalists have the rights to ask tough questions. But there is a difference between questioning policy and taunting people about their historical oppression. When you enter a protest about caste discrimination and say, "Drop your reservation, you're drinking water now," it feels like you are devaluing the centuries of discrimination. So to this statement, the students began reacting, and voices were raised and the crowd were gathered around her, and the situation became more chaotic. So according to RUCHI Tiwari, she was attacked by a mob. She also alleged that her clothes were torn and she was given many threats, and even some girls around her talked to her that she would be paraded naked. But some videos also show that she was also pushing the ASA's secretary, and that push also triggered the clash. So she filed a complaint against the members of AISA, that is All India Students Associations, claiming targeting and assault. And on the other hand, the student groups also filed complaint against her and the companion, accusing her of provoking the situation. So both sides have filed complaint, and both were claiming that they were victims. And after this incident, RUCHI Tiwari played another card. Now she is saying that she was targeted and she was attacked by the mob because she is a Brahmin. She also said that she was attacked by the Dalit community people only because of her caste identity. Now this changed the complete narrative. She also said that she was attacked by the Dalit groups only because of her caste identity. And this completely changed the narrative. Now the focus was not on what she had said on the protest. Instead it shifted to a Brahmin women journalist was being attacked by a caste-based mob. Even some national media outlets like ANI interviewed her and presented mostly her side of the story. So obviously most of the viewers began thinking that the students who were protested are very dangerous and violent. But this narrative ignores the context that the statements she made and the tone she used. They believed that presenting one side can create a false narrative showing that the protesters are extremists. So this incident is not just about one journalist, it is about responsibility. Journalists are usually the spokesperson of the suppressed voices. They are supposed to question power, not mock the people fighting discrimination. They are supposed to question power, not mock the people who are protesting discrimination. When a journalist uses the language that sounds like slur and hysterical dismissal, then definitely it is not journalism. So, RUCHI Tiwari, after the incident, she completely turned herself as a victim. Instead of reflecting on her own words, she took the victim card and she flipped the picture that the entire incident happened only because of her caste. And this creates a larger political narrative. If even a women journalist of Brahmin is not safe inside the UGC campus, then how does the general category students will be protected under this new UGC equity rules? And this argument began spreading online. So this looks like a right-wing propaganda angle. It shifts the focus from the discrimination faced by the marginalized communities. It shifts the focus from the real issue, that is the discrimination faced by the marginalized communities. Instead of talking about caste injustice and inequality, it suddenly shifted to upper caste insecurity. So the main issue was pushed aside, and this push was not accidental, it is political. But let's be clear in very one point, that is, if any student physically assaulted her, then it is definitely wrong. Threats, harassments or mob violence can never be justified even if it is provocated. But at the same time, provocation must also be questioned. So if you light a match in a room filled with petrol, you cannot say that you don't have any role in the fire. Same here, tone matters, context matters, and the words also matters.